Thank you, Thomas. Well dressed, sir. Well dressed.
I had to step it up a notch.
Well, everybody has their good days. Very proud of you right now. But in any case, yeah, welcome to the Pulse. As usual, we'll start off. Last week a very eventful week. Some really good matchups. Some surprises, maybe not. There was a lot of differentiation, big words in our picks. And Mr. Psych Troglodyte, the big, um, the big what I want to use one big word now. Um, gained the most.
I went perfect, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't miss a game.
That's right. That's right. Well, we'll go through those. We'll talk about the picks that we did make and break it all down, give our records. But as we usually start the show off with, and I know that everyone looks at on the UFL Facebook page and sees these standings, but we will go over the AFC and the NFC standings as they sit here at the conclusion of week number 6, heading into week number 7. So in the AFC, we have the Titans alone at the top at 6-0 overall, 4-0 in the conference, the only undefeated team left in the AFC. We have the Raiders sitting at 4-1, 2-1 in conference. We have the Mustangs at 4-2, 4-0 in the conference. Their only losses so far coming to their out of conference opponents. So right about there. The Bulldogs and the Huskies both sitting at 1-5 overall, 1-3 in the conference. And the King Cobras getting a win, 1-5 overall, 0-4 in the conference. Jumping down into the NFC, the Seahawks and the Bucks both 5-0 and 3-0. The 5-0 overall, 3-0 in the conference. The Warriors are sitting at 4-2 overall, 3-1 in conference. Cowboys 3-3, 2-2 in conference. Patriots at 1-5, 0-4, and the Broncos, the lone winless team to this point in the season, 0-6 overall, 0-4 in the conference. And we start off the show a lot of the same way, talking about some things in these standings that are surprising us. And the Broncos' inability to gain a win is just jumping out at the boards at me. It's like you look at the standings, anything jump out at you as well?
Yeah, that one in the Cobras column. I mean, that's a big deal over there for them. I know that's a team that's just recently changed a quarterback, and they're legitimate. Like if there's an energy, I guess would be the best way to put it around that team. They're actively going out trying to get better. Do I think that they're going to right the ship to the point that they're in a playoff contention in a few weeks? Well, that's an entirely different ball game. But as far as just an overall like change within an organization, I'd say they're the biggest surprise right now, because this was a team that was going nowhere a few weeks ago, and now it's like they're not, they're not like subject to not ever leaving the basement, I guess is the best way to put it. They have top 10 potential, which I realize is only 3 from the bottom, but I mean, you could probably push up in the top 8, top 7, 6, somewhere around in there. I mean, there's some work to do to get that high, but I mean, I think things are looking up overall for the organization. So I think that's, to me, the big surprise.
Unlike last season, it didn't take them to the final week of the season to get their first win.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
sitting here, a good, 6 games in, and you just notched your first win under your belt. And a win against a very, very solid opponent in the Broncos, the team that I know we all have had higher expectations for than what they have produced at this point. Just really disappointing in how they have performed up to this point. Tom, those are your boys. What you got?
They're on the struggle
Michael.
bus. Yeah, Michael's on. I was taking a breath for just a second. I mean, it's a consistent struggle. Their consistency is that trying to get that win, and they almost had it last week. Like I was watching the game, it was a great game, but it's just, it was a tough one to see the loss there happen. And I'm just, I know Zev is no longer on the team, so they lost a big receiver there. I was really hoping to see things start working, coming into week 7, getting to week 7. I would hoping to see, some more wins on the board, but it's just they're on this plateau right now, and they've got to get off that plateau. They got to do something and change something drastically, or I think they're gonna stay with that 0 and whatever record for a while.
It's, and we're going to chat about the game in a few moments, but this weekend really thought it was, it was a great opportunity. I mean, of course, I picked the Broncos. I felt like they were the better team out of them, the Cobras. Like you, of course, picked the Cobras, and you were correct. And I don't know. I just expected to see more of a solid effort. I don't know the intricacies of many teams in this league, but with who the Broncos have and the talent they have, and the success of players on that squad, I've just if you would have bet me, the Broncos would be sitting at 0-6, even with the record, even with the the start to the season that they had with a tough pull on the schedule. I would have bet you that they would have at least got one win through this point, and I never would have anticipated an 0-6. But other than the Broncos, anything in the Cobras, which like their matchup, we'll chat about it a little bit more as we get to it. Any other surprises jump out to you guys as far as the standings, or is it kind of what you expected? Teams kind of lining up in the order that you felt they would be sitting at right now?
I mean, for me, it's looking at the standings and things, it pretty much is about exactly where I expected. The Huskies and Cobras 1-5. I was really and I don't know if the Bulldogs are just getting some really tough draws. But they've got the talent on the team, and I really want to see them, stand out above the Huskies and the Cobras and take that number 4 spot in the AFC. Cowboys are doing exceptionally well. They're 3-3 right now. With barely behind the Warriors. My only thing, I was hoping the Broncos would be a little higher.
Like, you got anything to add?
I think just another analysis, and let me throw this in here before somebody goes and COCs themselves. Don't contact Zev just yet. Tom may know that he's left the team, but he is still signed under contract, so don't go getting yourself a COC approaching him.
COC would be going to Tom's desk.
Right. Tom would be like, oh, my bad.
I mean, I was just told that he was no longer with the team.
He may not be. They just probably haven't gotten around to kicking him out yet, but he is still on the roster, so I mean, at least run it by team ownership, anybody that's interested, so
Zev Titanium.
I hope I did not just like
by the way, right, by the way, Zev, you might be done.
An insider on the Broncos notified Tom Box.
Breaking news, the UFL Pulse has just learned that Broncos are parting with Zev Titanium. So no, I mean I'm sure that's known. So if not, it is now.
It was never told that hey, this was a secret. This is
right.
Don't tell anybody. It was just he is no longer part of the team. I'm like,
guys,
all right.
we are a media outlet. We are
that's
here to
right.
report the news.
That's right.
If we receive it, who says we can't say it? No one says off the record.
Tom Box, right. Breaking news. All right, but no, any other major? Let's see. I really like, and you're right about the Bulldogs' draw so far. I know they're sitting 1-5, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure their losses are to Mustangs, Raiders, Seahawks, and Bucks. That's 4 of their losses. Now I can't name the 5th one, but I mean, it's not like they're going out there and laying a goose egg. I mean, this is actually a pretty good team. They just have really played like almost every team that if you're a team trying to establish yourself that you don't want to play. They really remind me.
Had a really tough draw.
Yeah, they remind me a lot of like last year's Mustang squad. You see this team, you know that they're going to get that momentum going, and it's just like they just kind of keep missing just a little, and now you look and the Mustangs are right in the thick of it. So, I mean, the Bulldogs are doing some pretty cool things over there. And you never know, that by the end of this season, they could be pushing us for that number 3 spot. next season, depending on how everything gets shuffled again, you don't know. The other one is the struggle for the number 3 spot over in the NFC with the Warriors and Cowboys. For the Cowboys to have been through what everything, roster wise they've been through, to be a game out of third place, I think is a really good spot for them right now, considering everything that they've done. They've got the game out of with us out of the way, so there's one hurdle gone. So I mean, they're sitting pretty decent spot and definitely within striking distance. I don't think the Warriors and Cowboys have played yet, have they?
They did.
Oh.
But they have their
That one went in the favor of the Warriors.
Yeah, and their next meetup is I think the second or third to the last week of the season.
So plenty of time. Yeah.
That's going to be a big build up, I think, in terms of that spot. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Our next 3 weeks are ridiculous, but that's a different story for a different day.
But I think if you look at the way that the standings are, with Titans, Mustangs, Raiders, Bulldogs, Huskies, Cobras, I think that's the exact order, pretty much. Mustangs and Raiders, you guys are right there, kind of flip flop. I think Raiders are actually one game above because you've played one less game. That's pretty much the order. I believe, and I could be made to look like a complete and total jerk later in the season, but I believe that the Bulldogs are way ahead of where the Cobras and the Huskies are. I think they've had a tough draw, but record-wise, they're gonna separate themselves from that pack. I just believe that that's gonna happen, and everyone's of course free to have their own opinion. And over in the NFC, it's lined up pretty much how I would have thought it would have too. Seahawks, Bucks, Warriors, Cowboys. Now Patriots and Broncos. I mean, I would have thought that the Broncos would be above the Patriots. I'm just going to be honest with what was coming in there. But overall, I thought that just from being over there, Toroff says no one saw Cowboys over Pats. Just from being there and having played against the Patriots and having beat them on a consistent basis, scrimming with the Cowboys, I would have picked the Cowboys over the Patriots. Even following our departure, I still felt pretty good about their chances to win that ball game. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Right.
the times that we've scrimmed them when we were on the Cowboys, I mean, it was a pretty big lead. So, even our departure, them, and I think they played them the next game
did,
after
they
we
won.
left,
Came back
and
and
they
won.
still grabbed the win. So,
But all right, well, we've talked a lot about the standings, a lot about teams. Now we're going to get into individual matchups that we saw this past week. In our Week 6 review starting Friday, we had the Huskies at the Seahawks. Seahawks 74, Huskies 0. We all picked the Seahawks. They won big. I don't think anybody was surprised.
no big surprise there.
Anything anyone wants to say about this one?
I mean, my only surprise was only 74. I mean, I was just being as honest as I could be. I've seen this team hang a lot more than 70 on people, so that was about my response. And that's not disrespectful necessarily to the Huskies. I'm just saying I've seen them hang a lot more than that. So
Yeah. And then Saturday, the early game, and this was the Pulse game of the week. The Mustangs at the Warriors did not disappoint. Warriors come away with the win, 24-21. Tom and Syke taking the Warriors. I went out on a limb, took the Mustangs. I was wrong. And
Isn't that your
Tom and
first
Syke-
loss?
That's my second.
Oh,
We all
okay.
lost. We all lost, I think. Picking the Cobras. Yeah. Anyways, really good game there. Not surprising. This was a really tough pick, and like I said last week, neither of the outcomes was going to be surprising to me. The game lived up, I thought, to what it was going to be. Warriors continuing to push forward. Prior to the season, talked about teams that we felt were on the rise. I felt like they were one of them. I think they're going to continue to improve and get better. They're a team that's actively asking questions about their performances and looking to find ways to get better through scrims and feedback from other teams. And the Warriors are a team that's, in that top tier, right there at it, right there. And for them to be putting in that much effort, it is starting to pay dividends against a team that a lot of people in the preseason, tabbed the Mustangs as the team they could see pushing all the way toward a championship. For the Warriors to come in there and take a hard-fought win away, I thought was really good. Warriors 24, Mustangs 21. Syke, any thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, it was a nice, close game. It was one of those kind of proof positives that the vast majority of this league is kind of pulling closer to each other as far as talent goes. More so than last season, I think is the general consensus that everybody tell you they agree on. And this game is proof of that. I mean, you're not going to get a more solid, more competitive football game than this one. I'm pretty sure I hadn't watched all of it. I tried to get some, but I'm pretty sure just from looking at the scoring chart that the Warriors had to come from behind. Like I think they scored 14 in the fourth quarter to secure that win, and won by 3. So if that was the case, like I said, it's one of those proof positive games that that the less teams approach this season, whether it was the league's choice or just people not being able to do it. It was a good one, and you're seeing that over repeatedly. Week in and week out, there's more competitive games, I feel like, this season than there have been in a while. So,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to completely agree with Syke. The competitiveness in this, in season 2 has been phenomenal, and this game was a true showing of that competitiveness between these two teams. The Warriors pulling away for a win just by 3 points. A fantastic game. Both teams were out there, just hard charging it to get that W. I mean, it was just a fantastic job on both teams. That's what I got for that one.
It was named the game of the week, and it lived up to billing. Mustangs Warriors. Warriors 24, Mustangs 21. Solid win there. Good look on the resume for the Warriors here in the season. The late game on Saturday was the Bucks at the Bulldogs. Bucks 57, Bulldogs 10. Syke, any thoughts about this one?
No, I think a little bit of an emotional letdown on the Bulldogs. They were able to play the Mustangs really close, and the Bucks just came in and really just unloaded their full potential. This is a team that is as potent on offense as any in the league, and certainly can play defense with anybody there as well. Maybe even the best defense in the league. Really, I've played against the Bulldogs a lot. The 10, I think, is nothing to be embarrassed about against the Bucks defense. I don't even know if they'd allowed a point up to then. So that's nothing, again, to hang their head or hang their head about over, with Kay and company over at Rhino Squad, the Bulldogs. So, I mean, yeah, you don't want to get beat by 47, but it's not a mercy rule loss, and, you did score, you didn't get skunked. And so, I mean, I really like the Bulldogs as far as just one of those teams that's fun to root for because you see a good group of people just trying really, really hard and really working at their game, and I like that, and that's fun to watch. And so, you root for them, and you think that eventually, they're not going to be playing teams in the top 4, and they're able to, to string quite a few wins together. But, I mean, just right now, this schedule has just not done them any favors.
No, absolutely not. And just honorable mention, Torolf made every single extra point attempt on this game. So
way to come back.
Hashtag kicker.
From a zero PAT make game the week before. It was the support that me and Tom brought
absolutely
in this game that just shined the golden boot.
I'm zooming in
not to mention let's see who got picked on. Jinx picking on picking over Leroy.
By the way, for those on the stream, this is Tor right here. I'm giving you a nice close up of
best kicker
those
in the
golden
league,
feet
like
right there. The golden feet of Tor.
I want you to tell me any kicker in your life you've ever seen look like that.
I mean,
he looks like he's gonna eat the ball and then charge you and slit your throat.
Like seriously, if we ever got Wild Links to like sponsor the UFL, he would play Sasquatch and we'd be messing with Torolf. I mean, that is literally what it'd be.
Got skills.
Mercy wins tonight.
Nice.
Mercy
Good
wins.
Job, babe. But anyways, yeah, Good job. We're gonna move on because we're falling behind on our time frame here a little bit. So, going on into Sunday, the early game had the Cowboys at the Raiders. Raiders 42. And by the way, Syke took the Bucks in the Bulldogs Bucks game. Of course, he was correct there because Syke did not. Sunday early game, Cowboys and Raiders. Raiders 42-0 winners over the Cowboys. Me and Tom both picked the Raiders in this one. Kind of shocked the Cowboys didn't get any points on the board. Felt they were making some headway offensively. Watching the game as I did, I felt that they returned to old form with a lot of long passes into coverage.
Into the middle.
Yeah, not taking what was available as far as, I mean, there was room to run when it was taken. There was abilities to move the ball down the field, but just continued just poor decision making with the ball in the air. Going into double and triple coverage at times, just heaving it down the football field against a very, very talented Raiders defense and secondary. You guys are very skilled on the back end, and when you just lob it up into the secondary and you're trying to get one guy to catch over two, it's just that the odds are definitely not in your favor. And it felt like the Cowboys just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again, and they kept getting the same exact result over and over again. There was a portion of the game where it was turnovers back and forth for a little time. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys, it was an issue in the past. It's still an issue now. They just have to be smarter with the ball and not try to score so quickly. Look for the underneath routes, utilize the comebacks, some poor route running by the Cowboys in coverage deep down the field, not really helping out the quarterback any. And then all of the credit, of course, going to the Raiders and their ability to, when the ball was in the air, win those battles, and then when having the ball to, when having possession, getting 42 points. So a solid win for the Raiders. Shot not necessarily at the differential, but that it was a complete zero on the scoreboard by the Cowboys. A very solid shutout, I feel, for the Raiders in this one. Tom, any thoughts before?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty sure I lost some Cowboy friends because I was commentating this game, and it got to the point to where I was literally just I couldn't say anything anymore because the ball kept going to the middle. Like, the ball would get snapped, Fearsome would drop back, and I'd call it. I was doing the play-by-plays. Fearsome takes the snap, drops back, and a throw to the middle, and it's just it kept going repetitive. And Michael Slate was right there in the middle. Michael Slate was the Cowboys' best receiver during that game. I mean, it kept going to him in the middle. And, I was hoping that, when halftime occurred, they were kind of huddled together and be like, okay, look, we've got to stay away from the middle. We need to throw the outs more. We need to do some more comebacks. And, not taking anything away from Fearsome. When Fearsome ran the ball, I mean, he was running 15, 20 yards at a time, I mean, he was getting great, fantastic runs. And any time that they would get, close to the end zone, I think they had end zone fever, and it would just switch and they would force a pass. And of course, you can't force a pass on a defense that is so lit up on fire. You've got to do something to take that fire away, and part of that was Fearsome and running. I think that if they would have kept the ball on the ground a little bit more, I think they would have had a little bit more success, on the offense. Now, the Cowboys defense, was a completely different story. The Cowboys defense was doing fantastic. I mean, sure, 42 points did happen, but the Cowboys defense were on point. They were getting the coverage. Mistakes were happening, of course, but the defense did not match the offense. If the offense would have matched what the defense was doing, we would have seen a much closer game, because the defense was getting picks and defense was getting interceptions. It's just they were just trying to force too many plays. And I mean, the route running, as you said, Matt, the route running was pretty bad. I was zoomed out watching, and you would have nothing but just 4 outs or 5. Everybody was just streaking outwards, and vertical streaks, and everybody was just gathering up in the middle, and you just can't do that against anybody. You don't need to be grouping up in the middles and just throwing balls, just hoping to for somebody to come down. Now, towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, Fontes actually started coming down with the passes in the middle, but they still were throwing to the middle, and it was very disheartening to watch. it was almost painful to watch. The balls keep going into the middle and keep getting intercepted. So
Yeah, and going back, and this is my final little point, and then we'll toss it over to you, Psych, to finish the game up. With the offense not matching the defense, yeah, that's been a continued theme. Even whenever we were there, defensively we would have good games, but the scoreboard wouldn't indicate it because we would give the other team the ball so many more times than we would have the ball. We would, the Cowboys, when we were there, you get interceptions, you'd get the ball, you'd feel good, and it'd be a turnover, and I'm talking a turnover within a few plays of getting the ball back, and that's the biggest thing that the Cowboys have needed to improve on and continue to improve on is just decision making, knowing your limitations, not forcing anything. It's a lot like we were talking about when we were commentating the Patriots and the Titans, and that game got out of hand in the fourth quarter, really. But the Patriots ran the ball, ate a lot of clock, and we're talking at halftime, you know, it was like 21-3 at halftime in a game that you expect. It ended up being a complete and total blowout. But like that's what the Cowboys need to do is eat clock. You have a talented runner at quarterback. Utilize that and figure some stop forcing passes into troubled areas. I know you have faith that Fontes is going to come down with it or Michael's going to come down with it, but you can't do that every time, especially when you're getting burned over and over and over again with the same exact mistakes. Learn from it, move on, see the offense improve. Defensively, the Cowboys have been doing, and I felt have always done a really solid job on that side of the ball, but they have to figure out an offense that's going to be suitable to their play style, and chunking it up to the middle of the field is going to get you absolutely nowhere in this league against any opponent. It doesn't matter if it was the Raiders or anybody else. All right, Psych, you were out on the field. Give your little analysis.
Yeah, well, as anybody else on the field at all this past weekend, I think Lag had more tackles and interceptions than anybody else out there. But no, the Cowboys came strong. Slate, has kind of evolved into like a backup role for us because of some stuff he's got going on. So for him to be able to come in and have the game he did was huge. We were all, real happy for him. It's one of those, just deals where we were just, congratulating him on every play, just about because he was just a machine out there in the secondary that night. So I was happy for him. That was a lot of fun. I played like pure garbage the whole game. That's about the worst game I've played all season. But I mean, it was. Hey,
I'm just kidding.
Hey. So, but no, it wasn't. I mean, it was still fun, but I was just aggravated with myself a number of times for just doing stupid stuff. But overall, I mean, they're a good team. I've scrimmed them a lot, and it felt a lot more concentrated and unified as far as their efforts that in the game than it did in practice. And part of that's just because of atmosphere of practice versus a game. But I do think this is a team that's focused and in the right direction. So, I mean, I expect them to really push the Warriors for that number 3 spot by the end of the season, and it'll be interesting. And we were wrong. I don't believe they've played yet at all. I think they're playing the first time this Sunday. So.
Yeah, this Sunday. Yeah.
I thought they did play one because I wasn't at that game. So this might be their second.
Maybe their second to play them already, but they're playing Sunday. So.
Yeah, they are. That was my mistake on that earlier. I said that it was at the end of the season. I was wrong. But yeah, and kind of.
That's been the theme of the weekend.
Yep, pretty much.
Hey, he took the shot first.
Hey, that's okay. That's all right.
Got him.
Hey, I can dish it and I can take it, dude. It's all good.
I know, my bad.
But in any case, put a little bow on the end of my statements about the Cowboys. The team's not far off.
No, they're not.
It's very, very close. They have been very, very close for a long time, and I just hope they can figure it out. That they really need to sit down and decide what they want their identity to be on offense. Defensively, they're going to be fun. They're going to keep themselves in ball games. They just need to possess the ball and have quality possessions. Get 3 points when you have it. And just play good. You kind of. We've seen them in the past couple of weeks, chunking the ball down the field, scoring a good bit of points. You have to recognize who your opponent is from game to game, and sometimes just know that's just not how it's gonna happen. even if that's the initial game plan, and you just have to switch in off of that. Yeah, they played them in week 2. Horns is letting me know. And then they play them again on Sunday. So this will be their second meeting. So the Warriors and Cowboys series will come to an end this upcoming week. But in any case,
I was going to say that to me makes this really important for the Cowboys because, for them to have a shot at a tiebreaker with them, they need to go even on the series. So.
And then, all right, jumping into the nightcap on Sunday, it was the Broncos against the Cobras, and the Cobras come away with the first win of the season, dropping the Broncos to the lone winless team. Cobras 14, Broncos 13. Me and Tom took the Broncos. Psych, only one taking the Cobras, and Psych was right again. Rolled through the entire weekend. So Psych, you were right. What were your thoughts about the game?
I thought that was a really nice win. Obviously competitive, 14-13. I think it's a confirmation for the Cobras. Not a huge first step, but it is a step forward. And for a team that had a big O for in the win column, it was needed. So hats off to them for it. And I think that they've got still a lot of growth to go. I know Jason's just started over there at QB. He's got a lot to learn, but he is willing to learn and he is working his tail off to learn it. So I think that's a positive for them, and I think it'll pay off eventually. And I mean, you got to get win 1 before you can get to win 3 or 4. So I think that they picked a good spot to get that first win, and wish them a lot of luck in getting to those 3rd and 4th ones.
Any thoughts?
It was a well-played game between both teams. Any game that you get to come down to 1 point, if you didn't see it, you need to go back and watch it and just watch exactly what happened. Quite a bit of picks thrown back and forth. Really, really disheartening, seeing the Broncos lose by just 1. That as what Matt said, put them in the bottom of the winless category.
Comeback
bottom
win
of
for the Cobras too, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Weren't they trailing like 14-0? Could be wrong. I kind of kept checking the game periodically.
And that's what I was doing as well.
13-0. Excuse me. No.
I can't remember.
Go back and check. I think it was a comeback win though. They were at least down like 10-0. If anyone knows, if you could hit us up. You can post into the chat on Hitbox or hit us up on in World as well. But I believe it was like 10-0 because I think I was about to put the game to bed. Honestly. Like, all right, Psych, we got one on you.
and
then the
14.
Cobras come all the way back and score 2 touchdowns.
I got up in some IM boxes, and I was like, y'all don't do this to me. Hey.
They were down, and they came back, so Horns was letting me know.
Cycle, throw that IM out there. Hey, shape it up, boys.
Hey,
Psych picked you. I picked
First
you.
First half was 10-7.
10-7. Cool, good stuff. But yeah, it was a good game and a quality win. I mean, because even with the Broncos' record, their perception in the league, I think, is better than the only winless team. Like, you still look at the Broncos as a team that can be competitive on a nightly basis with the majority of teams in the league, and the Cobras beating them is a very, very quality win. For that organization. One definitely you can hang your hat on, move forward, continuing to grow, with their new quarterback. It's going to be exciting to watch the Cobras continue to move forward. Hopefully, like Syke said, notch a couple more wins under their belt. That's going to jump us right into Monday night and the cap on the weekend with the Patriots against the Titans. And the Titans poured it on in the 4th quarter and made it look the way we were anticipating. 62-3, the final. Kind of close, not really close because the game was never in doubt, but the Patriots ate up a lot of clock, kept the game within like 20 points for 3 quarters, and then it just
exploded.
Explosion in the 4th quarter. Interceptions returned for touchdowns on top of just, pick after pick after pick after pick with the Patriots trying to get back into it. But we all picked the Titans. The Titans won, showed their strength at the end of the game. 2-3. Tom, any thoughts on this game?
Just like you said, I mean, they held the ball for quite some time in the beginning of the game. And I was commentating this one as well. We kept saying that, all right, they've got to put an answer to this. They've got to answer this one back to, to stop them. And, they'd get all the way down and then throw a pick, or they'd just not do it. They wouldn't convert a fourth down, put the Titans in bad field position, but the Titans just kept on trucking. And then, just the fourth quarter, it was like the Titans just flipped the on switch and just bulldozed the Patriots.
Yep. Ended up, like I said, as we expected. Psych, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, the Titans, to me, they're an amazingly put together team when it comes to chemistry and all of that. To me, they're like incredible opportunists. They don't get in any hurry when they don't need to. They are methodical and solid at everything that they do. And then it's kind of like a python, it just kind of slowly tightens and tightens. And then the minute you slip up, it's just like all of a sudden, like you said, a 20-point lead becomes a 40 and 50-point lead. And you're like, how'd that happen? They put pressure on you, and they don't let up. They just continually squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. You don't see very many on the field errors. Things just tend to really, really work well for them throughout the course of a game, and then they get results like this. So I'm looking forward to our match, Friday night. We changed quarterbacks a few weeks ago. Everybody's looking to that. This is going to be his first major test, and I know we're all looking forward to it. And it's going to take a full team effort. So to beat a team like that, so we're going to find out a lot about them and ourselves Friday night. But this team's solid.
Definitely, it's going to be good, and looking forward, as Hefe said, forward to seeing how Snipe reacts under the pressure of a top tier team. All right, we'll run back through the scores one more time, and then we will reveal our standings as far as individual picks go. All right, we have the Huskies and the Seahawks. Hawks 74, Huskies 0. Saturday early game, Mustangs Warriors 24. 21 winners there. Late game on Saturday, Bucks and the Bulldogs. Bucks 57, Bulldogs 10. Sunday early game, Cowboys Raiders. Raiders winners 42-0. Late game Sunday, the Broncos and the Cobras. Cobras 14-13 winners. Monday, the Patriots at the Titans. Titans 62-3. That brings Psych with a perfect weekend of picks to 26-2. I am at 24-3, and Tom is sitting at 23-4. So all kind of grouped right in there together.
Coming for you, Matt.
I look forward to it, sir. We have some games this upcoming weekend. Going to be a very interesting week here. All right, kicking it all off on Friday will be the Titans at the Raiders. Great game there. Saturday, early game, Bucks at the Seahawks. Late game, Bulldogs at the Cobras. And then only one game on Sunday, and that is the Cowboys at the Warriors, and no game on Monday. So just one game on Sunday, and that's going to be at 6, and no games on Monday. So we have we have four games this weekend.
Yep.
3 of which I would say, standing implications, definitely, and opportunities for teams to make a statement. Really, all of these games fall under that docket. Probably to this point in the season, this should be the best weekend of games, I think, from just the totality of the schedule. Each and every game has the potential to bring its own drama, to be close, really playoff type feels to the games this upcoming weekend. So, guys, we got Titans and Raiders, we got Bucks and Seahawks, we got Bulldogs and Cobras, we got Cowboys and Warriors. Who's going to be the Pulse game of the week?
Well, I'll just jump right out and save y'all the drama. If we hadn't have stubbed our toe earlier against the Mustangs, and we could say Titans and Raiders are both undefeated heading into that, then you could say, all right, it's a battle for 1 and 2 on this side. But that's not the case. So we didn't get the job done. make no mistake about it. This is the game with the Bucks and Seahawks that everybody in this league is waiting to see. All right, there's no bones about it. All right, you can just, I mean, you chalk it up. This is match 1 of 2, and then eventually 3. And everybody wants to see it, and everybody's already preparing their "I knew it" or "I can't believe it" speeches afterwards as far as the spectators go. Everybody wants to work it. Everybody wants to watch it. If there are tickets left, I'm shocked. You should triple the price because there's going to be so few left. Everybody's going to try to get in. I'm telling you, this is the game. I hate that I'm going to be out of town on vacation and I'm going to have to follow this one on Facebook, but I'll be begging for the replay. And I know that everybody else will be watching it live and still dying to see the replay. So for me, as much as I would love to say that the showdown for what I believe, will be top contenders over on our side of the bracket would get the game of the week, forget it. There's no way that anything I'd rather watch Bucks and Seahawks than most NFL games this weekend, just because it's going to be that good. So without a doubt, that's my vote.
After that great speech, we're just going to let it stand as is.
Yeah.
Boom! Dropped the mic and walked off. Done.
Yeah, but it's hard whenever you're on the team. But even when I wasn't on the Cowboys, when I wasn't on the Bucks, this is the matchup.
These teams haven't seen each other since last season.
That's right. This is the game.
Yeah, I think they played in a little bowl game or something the last time they met officially. I don't know.
It just happened to be the whole freaking thing. Congratulations to the Seahawks in that one, aka also known as Bills. But anyways, we're gonna jump into our picks, and it's gonna be a tough weekend. Titans and Raiders. Tom, me and you get to pick in this one. The site's gonna be playing. This is gonna be an excellent game as well.
Here comes indecisiveness.
If you do Game of the Week Part 2 or Game of the Week B, it would be this one. And I believe right along the lines of use, like even though you guys, dropped the games that you did, this is a game to get you guys where you want to be and to show that you're a top contender over on that side of the bracket, and give you guys, it would be the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and really, our next 3 games, honestly, is Titans, Seahawks, and Bucks. Those are our next 3. So it's going to be a rough 3-game stretch.
Yeah.
We need to log a win. It's an important game.
3 weeks of hard work.
It's going to be like the preseason for us. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right, so we got Titans and the Raiders. Tom, who you got?
As much as I want to get behind the Raiders for this one, I think the Titans are going to come out with the win.
Thank you for that motivation, Tom.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
This is a tough one.
Go ahead and pick Raiders so I can beat you, Matt.
Because this is really a tough one.
Go ahead.
I kind of want to pick it just so that we are on different sides, because really, no.
We need to commentate this one.
Really, no outcome is gonna surprise me. I know Hef is down to commentate this as of right now.
All right, a Raiders bench, or Raiders commentating, or not? I'm sorry, a Buccaneer commentating squad for the Titans and Raiders.
That's right.
That'll work.
That's right. God, this is tough.
Look who's Mr. Indecisive now.
Yeah, I am very indecisive.
Sorry, Tori, you've already got 3. You're done.
Because I believe that with the changes, that the Raiders are trending upward. I think the Titans are more established right now. God, if I had more tape to see the Raiders in their current form, other than just this, but you know what? You don't live your life not taking risk. I'm gonna hedge my bet on the Raiders in this ball game. They're gonna shock some people and come away with a win, find their way to the top of the what are y'all in AFC? AFC. So there you go.
All right,
guys.
A little bit of competitiveness there.
Giving you guys something here. Either I'm gonna be last place, or I'm gonna be pushing back for the top. And I'm gonna hedge my bet on the Raiders in this ball game. So don't let me down.
Hard drop. If I fail this one, it's gonna be a hard drop.
All right. So then we're gonna hop on into the next one. I think the game's gonna be absolutely excellent. All the way across the board. It's gonna be tough, back and forth, the entire game. Just both teams gonna have to stay the course in this one. Very interesting to see. Looking forward to it for sure. All right, Bucks at the Seahawks. Like you're the only one that can pick this one.
Right.
Go on ahead and let me know
Well,
what you're thinking.
I've been talking all night long. Bucks defense, Bucks defense, Bucks defense, and they go up against that Seahawks offense that can't seem to be stopped. I think this is going to be your ultimate matchup. I don't doubt that the Bucks are going to be able to put up points on the board. The question is, can the Seahawks outscore them against that Bucks defense? I'm thinking that this score of both teams stays under 30, and that we could see a Bucks win. But not so fast. I'm going Seahawks. No, I think they're going to just pull. I was trying my best to do a Lee Corso impersonation right there. If I had a Seahawks head, I'd pull it out and put it on. But no, I think that they're still a little bit ahead. And I think that this game is going to shock everybody as to exactly how close the two are. But I think that they're going to find a way in the end. And I might be singing a different tune by the time the second one rolls around. But for right now, I think that they are still ahead to the point that they're going to win.
Fair enough. Heading on in to the late game on Saturday, the only day with a doubleheader. We have the Bulldogs at the Cobras. Tom, who you got?
I got the Bulldogs all the way on this one. I think they're going to be able to get out. I think they're going to be able to just snip the head off the Cobras early, and I think they're just going to ball out.
What do you got, Syke?
Yeah, I agree. I would have went Bulldogs if I was going first there too. I think the Cobras will make it potentially interesting. I mean, they might go in there and lose by 30, but I like where the Bulldogs are going, and I think the Cobras are following along. But the key word in that sentence is following, and they're not where the Bulldogs are yet, despite their best efforts to be. So I'm going to go Bulldogs.
Like I said when we were discussing the rankings, I believe that the Bulldogs are above that grouping below them that are the Huskies and the Cobras, and I think we start seeing some distance put on those two teams. In this one, I go with the Bulldogs as well. Bulldogs straight across the board there. All right, another big matchup for huge playoff implications on the line. And seeding as well. The lone game on Sunday at 6 o'clock. It's the Cowboys at the Warriors. Syke, who you got?
This is another one that, again, I think it's a team following where the Warriors are going in the Cowboys, but I don't think they're there yet. I will say this, though. We scrimmed the Warriors earlier, and I will say with every bit of respect and love to the people that were playing backup, the Warriors are very much one deep at QB. And if something happens with Gooch and he can't be there, then this could be a completely new ball game. But as far as I know, he's going to be there and things are going to be rolling around smooth, so I am going to say Warriors.
I agree with you on that one. I think we saw the absence of Gooch a lot with the Warriors last season and their extreme fall off first and last season. But yeah, he's there. All's well that ends well, and I think the Warriors are going to be here. Who you got, Tom?
I'm going to have to pick the Warriors as well. Just looking at standings, looking at who they've defeated and, who's defeated the Cowboys. The Warriors beat the Mustangs, last week. Cowboys, in the scrims that we've been in, we weren't able to beat the Mustangs. I feel like the Warriors are going to take it.
Yep. It's going to be a good one. A lot riding in this one. Final matchup for me, like Syke said, a lot more pressure in the matchup, I feel, for the Cowboys than for the Warriors. If the Cowboys find a way to get a win in this one, it really can chart their season on a brand new course as they kind of inch their way ever closer to the top that side of the very interesting there. All right, going to roll through it one more time. We're going to do our little housekeeping deals, and this is be a wrap. All right, Friday you got Titans and Raiders. Tom going Titans. I took Raiders because why not? Saturday early game, Bucks and Seahawks. Game of the week. Syke takes the Seahawks in that one. Late game, Bulldogs and Cobras. All took the Bulldogs. And Sunday, the lone game there, it will be at 6. Not be confused with it being at 4 or 7. It will be at 6. All three of us took the Warriors in that one. So, guys, any final thoughts before we put a wrap on it? Do our usual little housekeeping deal and send everybody home and off to their scrims and practices as we get ready for what's going to be a huge slugfest starting tomorrow night.
I think this week is going to be a very, very good week of games. I know I'm greatly anticipating pretty much every single matchup that's on the board. Our second game with the Bucks, going against the Seahawks, pretty much almost an identical matchup as to what we saw, last season for the Super Bowl when the Seahawks were the Bills. So it's going to be a good rematch. Titans and Raiders is going to be a great game. It's just all good games this weekend, and I'm pretty much going to be here for every single one of them.
Like, you got anything?
No, other than I just picked the worst week possible to go out of town. So I am going to be hating that I'm missing all of these games because every single one of them.
It's like I'm going to need you to stream.
Yeah, it's
all of them, please.
Not going to be possible this weekend, which would be a shame if we don't get some of those. So I know Billy stepped up huge last weekend. I think he streamed every one other than the one he was playing. So please, people out there watching, step up and stream because I don't think that he can stream them all this weekend. I'm out of town. And you'll have next weekend off. I mean, I don't think there's any games next weekend, so there's...
Guys, we only need 4 people.
Yeah, 4 people. That's it. Just 4. So y'all step up, get those things streamed. And,
don't get mad when a game is not streamed because we are working our butts off.
Right. We're trying. So. We're trying hard. So step up, stream those if you can. That's really the only parting message that I've got. So...
Yep. We talk every week. If you have somebody new to SL football and they're interested, bring them to this game. Well, let me tell you, if you have somebody new to SL football, bring them to any of these games this weekend, and I believe you're not going to be disappointed. I know that from the Bucs side, when tickets went on sale, they were gone almost immediately. Like, we were notified, hey, if you got people who want these tickets, you need to let them know because they're flying off the shelf. So I don't even know if there's any tickets available for that one. But, of course, going to be a great, great weekend. All starting off tomorrow night with the Titans and the Raiders. So, final little thing. If you want to be a streamer or a commentator or
Jessica Butt straight out on
just
stream
be
right
involved in the UFL media, just contact me, Tom, Syke, any of us up here. We will get you exactly where you need to go. One thing that I posted this out, and I'm asking for this, and I'm asking for it on stream now. I would like very much so for us to have one person from each team step up to stream. We've had, since I posted it, we've had people contact us. And I appreciate that, but we do need more streamers, because if we don't have streamers, then the games aren't going to get shown, and everyone loves watching their games again, or loves watching the big games. But all games deserve to be streamed for our sponsors, for every single player that busts their butt to play in this league. So if your games are being streamed and nobody on your team is stepping up to do it, I know it takes a little bit more in terms of hardware to be able to stream these games. Every team has at least one player or cheerleader or an owner or a fan who is capable of doing it. And I just ask from the media department to please step up to relieve the strain, because like he said, Billy commentated or streamed every single game last season, and this is going to be a long season. We can't have just 4 or 5 people doing absolutely everything, and that's the same for refs. If your team does not have anybody who is reffing, please send them to Horn, send them to Raz, send them to Rayon. Send them, because we need people. We had a game, I think it was the Monday night game, where we were short on refs and on media. These things shouldn't happen. We have a large number of people in this league. There's no reason that any of our staffing should falter, and you do get compensated. It's not you're not going to get paid millions, but you do get a little change in your pocket.
I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to send in a note card for this past
You'll get-
weekend.
I haven't
I'm
got
getting
paid for the
better at
last
it. I
ones
mean,
either.
it's a new thing. You need to look in. You should. Well, Dutchy's been sick too, so
Yeah,
that's the
they've
thing.
been out. Yeah,
So
I was just ruffling your feathers.
yeah. Anyways, but I mean, you do get compensated, for your time. You are given a little bit, a little bit of change to jingle around in your pocket. So, but even beyond that, just do it for the league, because there are people who step up
Constantly.
all the time to make sure that our games get done. So the least we can do is every team can give one person. That would be what? We have 12 teams in this league, right?
Yep. 12 teams,
That
middle
would
of
be
9 people.
I mean, think about it. If we had 12 streamers who would say, and if you put your name in to be a ref or to be a streamer or a commentator, be willing to actually do the job. Don't just
Yeah,
put your name on a list
if
so
you
that
sign
your
up,
team gets
Please show up.
credited with giving a name. We've had that happen, and then people never get back to you. So be willing to do it, and it's not asking too much. I mean, if you're sitting there watching the game on the stream, why not partake in it as a commentator or a
It's
streamer
fun.
or a ref? But that's my little preacher moment there. If you want to be a photographer as well, you'll need those. Contact any one of us up here. We'll put you in contact with who you need to go, which is Dutchy, and she has been out. That's really about it. I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the Pulse. We will be back again next Thursday, right here, live at 5 from the UFL Fan Sim. If you guys have any questions about anything, please contact any of us. You guys have anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. I'm Matt. He's Tom. He's Psych. This was the Pulse. We'll see you guys starting tomorrow at 6 when the Titans take on the Raiders. See you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.